me the like Riley.
But
Oh, we're on.
Hello, everybody. We are live now. This is Grave New World, our Buffy the Vampire Slayer TTRPG. I am joined today by my lovely players, but first, let's get some things out of the way. Background images courtesy of Pixabay, character art courtesy of Hero Forge, because we stan them. Anyway, yes, we do. I am joined by my lovely, lovely players today. Eeny, meeny, miny, Glory. Who are you? And what do you do?
I am a meat popsicle at the moment. Anyway, so hi, I'm Blaze of Gloriosa. You can find me under Blaze of Gloriosa anywhere. Twitch, Twitter. I think I even have an Instagram under that name, but I'm not positive. TikTok. Today I will be playing your friendly neighborhood Estia, who is geeky. What do we know so far about Estia? She's geeky. Oh, way into the Slayer. Like has this crush, huge crush, 9,000 crush. I think that's all we know about her right now. She swings.
She has a little bit of knowledge of the witchy business.
Yeah, she was looking at Shari's like sigil and was like, no. I don't think that's the thing.
Did you get this off Wikipedia?
You always use
Did you get
Wikipedia
this
as a jumping
from
point,
Wish? You ordered this from Wish, right?
Why is my symbol from Wish not working?
What is going on? It
It
says
says soup.
soup in ancient Armenian.
Yep.
Okay. I think that's it. Bat Kyle, who are you and what do you do?
I am the Bat Kyle. I currently am in this wonderful game that I couldn't be happier about. And on Tuesdays, until we wrap it up, I run the last hurrah of Honest John Rackham, the longest hurrah that ever there has been. Good times there. Otherwise, I mod around a bit and play a lot of games. I will be playing your big, burly, cuddly, half-demon oracle, Jacob King, also stoner. That should definitely be mentioned. We know that he is big, is the oracle, is a stoner, and has a fair amount of knowledge about things. But it's a grab bag from things he's had to do. He's not like a lexicon of mystical demon kind or anything. It's like I got a half on to, who knows, this is something about this kind of demonology, whatever. And that's what I've got. So eeny, meeny, miny, Eddie.
Hi, my name is Eddie Elfman. I'm an Edmonton-based voice actor. On Monday nights, you can find me playing Sherry Dar for this great Buffy TTRPG. She is a Southern vixen that also has some Wiccan in her. Speaking of which, today is the spring solstice, so make sure to set your intentions and manifest today. Light a candle, set out your rocks and charge them, depending. Research what the gem is, though, because moon can either charge or sun can charge. And then Thursday evenings, I play a Oathbreaker Paladin for Deviant Futures named Mizio. Besides that, you can find me on the internet. Underneath this link tree is the first one, and then the next one is a link to a book. I just finished up one of my first audiobooks, doing the production of such, and I have submitted it to Jeffrey, Mr. Bezos, and he is listening to it right now, and he's giving me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So just, if this helps at all, I think you're so cool. Love that you don't have hair. I love that you don't like music. It's great. You're doing a great job. I don't get what other people are saying about you. But yeah, that's about it. Looking forward to tonight. What about you, dear Slayer?
Oh, the best for last. No, I'm just kidding. All these people are so much better than I am.
Hey, don't
pretty
let
much.
your imposter syndrome win.
Yeah, for those of you watching, I was nominated for this role, which I love it dearly. You can find me here where we are right now, same bat time, same bat channel, without the Bat Kyle though, although this time with the Bat Kyle. Otherwise, you can find me over on Twitter at Queen Games at the link in the chat right now. I'm also on Discord by the same name. You can find me here, Mana Queen. So feel free to stop into our Discord at Dirty 20 Gaming. Come say hi. We're a really good group of people. It's a really good time. And I, as Eddie said, play the Slayer. And Ash doesn't really know what's going on, but they're trying to learn to the best of their ability. They hate it here, but they're here. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. Oh, I forgot to. No wonder things are weird in my peripheral vision. I didn't close Twitch.
Double
There's
screen
movement, and I'm like, I don't like that.
Double screens. What's up?
Yep. Also, it makes me self-conscious. Woo. Anyway, I am your director, Wayward Knight, also known as Wayward Knighted. Various places on the internet, depending on if Wayward Knight was taken or not already. You can find me on Instagram and Tumblr. Technically, I don't really use Tumblr that much though. And here, where I sell my art. It is desperately in need of an update, but I have been creating new art, so I will put stuff on there soon. I also play here on Dirty 20 Gaming on Saturday nights as Delilah Stillwater in our Dead to Rights campaign, and otherwise I just live on the Discord. So thanks for joining, and let's get started. Yeah. Okay. I am not. Sorry, notes were in the wrong order. Okay. So I believe Kyle volunteered to give a summary.
I did. Does that mean I get to nominate somebody for next summary?
If they let you.
That's the rules, yeah. That's what
Alright.
we just
No.
decided.
Veto.
It's
God,
giving you
that
warning
aside.
to take notes. You're fine.
Exactly.
Nose goes.
Listen, even as a DM, these are my notes from my last DM session. So you do not want me doing recap.
Sure I do.
You
I think
don't
that would
want
be
that to happen.
fantastic.
That's
Be watching
Hey.
reading mana hieroglyphics there.
I was just gonna say it's Sherry's symbol.
All right. So when last we left our group, I was gonna go for something clever, but they're not there yet. Rather than going to the Waffle House or Denny's to discuss matters as Ye wanted, they ended up going to, Tweety Daddy's not yet set up offices, which of course are off of a library, of course. And of course, behind that, they discovered was a whole training room and a cage full of weapons. Pizza was had. Snark was thrown around. Lucian was disrespected on multiple levels throughout the night, although that kind of petered down, I think, as the adrenaline sort of like got out of people and the alcohol and other substances began to take hold. And at the end of the night, nothing had really been resolved per se, but everybody had at least calmed down, got some food in them, got a little bit of information, though how much of that they retained remains to be seen for this coming day. And of course, Sherry stole a really expensive looking dagger from the cage of weapons, which I don't think anybody except possibly Ash knows.
Communal ownership.
Communal ownership. It's a good word for it, which is of course exactly why Sherry slammed the door in her haste to escape with said dagger when that cage wasn't closed properly with her telekinetic powers. So that's effectively, as I remember, where we left off. Of course, other than, Estia pointing out that the rune or sigil that Sherry distracted our not so watchful watcher with turned out to be chicken scratch that kind of seemed like a rune, perchance, but was definitely not of anything of any known mystical significance. And then we dropped the curtain.
And then the curtain rises again. So what do you guys do between, I assume, you finish your pizza and then you leave because nothing more to see for now. What do you do between leaving the classroom, the library, the whatever, and the next morning?
I'm so glad you clarified time frame because I wanted to make sure there was like an overnight.
Yeah, there's an overnight.
Okay, cool.
Any volunteers?
Yeah, Cheryl's going to take the dagger out of her bag in her dorm room and kind of set it up and just look over any of the books that she has, just so she knows what she's working with in regards to value.
Okay. So I can give you some general stuff and then make me a knowledge occultism.
A knowledge occultism? Okay.
Correct.
Can I add my library bonus to that? My occult
Yes.
library?
Yes.
All right. Well, I just lost one of my D10s, so I'll use the other one. Ooh, all right. That is 9 plus 9. Yes. So that's an 18
Jesus.
total.
Okay. What's that? Very, 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 very
That
good.
would be 5 success levels.
Yes. You find a kind of a catalog of knives that look very, very similar. What it tells you is a list of various curses that have been either lifted or recorded as being attached to these various knives. You don't find anything that looks exactly like the knife you have, but the closest thing you do find is it's a very ornate dagger with kind of like a curved up and curved down hilt. It's a Chris dagger, so it has that wavy blade, and then on the handle are 3 gems. Unfortunately, the illustration is black and white, so there's no sort of color to it, but you can tell it is very, very ornate.
Mm-hmm.
Underneath the illustration, it says curse unidentified.
All right. Curse unidentified. And in this
And this doesn't, to be clear, this does not look like the knife you have, but it's the most
it's just
similar
the
looking.
most similar, but from reading up on these books, could I get an idea of what material it could be made out of? Or I'm looking for a kind of like a cheat sheet of how much it could go for to a suspected buyer.
There is a list of so if you flip through another book, you find it's an alchemy book. So you find prices of precious metals and the qualities and attributes that they have, and then there's a conversion list as to what materials are best for holding / sustaining magical spells and things, and what's good for maintaining engravings. So you sort of get the idea, and then there's some notes like in the margins of like, tried this, didn't work, this works better, etc. And you kind of get the inclination that it's probably like a gold alloy of some kind with like a steel or there wouldn't, like a very primitive steel blade.
All right, so it's at least
Probably silver plated though,
silver plated.
or silvered.
All right, so it
Silver
is a
plated.
silver dagger. Okay, that's of some note. All right, I'm just going to because it's the 21st century, and although the Buffy universe is perfect in every way at the beginning of the 21st century, we have a lot better internet presence. Could I have that some of my occultish access and libraries could be, having something online, maybe a repository or like a message board or something like that?
I believe techno-pagan is the term.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes. There are some forums out there. Can you make me one more knowledge occultism with the +1?
All right. So that'll be a 17 total.
Okay. Basically you find confirmation that these daggers are usually old steel, usually silvered, and the gems are always precious because those hold the magic the best. You can, I think you find people who can try and guess what the gems are, but the one that you stole has a green gem on the pommel.
Mm-hmm.
And then the handle is just, it's worn and kind of dirty, but it's pretty soft if you like press your thumbnail into the outer layer of it, so it's kind of clear that it's mostly gold.
All right. Well, I'll do what the internet's best used for, and I'm going to create a fake account, obviously using a VPN, and post an image of the dagger and say, "Oh, I'll pretend to be a dude, bro. I don't know, something like a Chad, and say, oh my God, just got this sick piece of steel for 3,000, got such a good price." And the comments they should tell me how much it's actually worth to prove me wrong about whether or not I got on how I got ripped off. So I'm gonna put up a high number, and I'm gonna be like, "Oh my God, I got such a steal," and try to get some internet clout, and people are gonna ratio me in the comments. I believe.
I mean, if you want to be corrected on the internet, you'd be better off posting as a woman.
But this is a
Can attest.
techno pagan forum. So
That's fair. That's fair.
it might be a bit of a switch of balance. I don't know, but I'm gonna act as someone that does not understand the culture. Pretend.
Okay. First, give me a number 1 through 6.
A 1 through 6 off the top of my head, or from a dice?
Off the top of your head.
5.
Okay. Oof. Okay. You get, actually, make me one more roll. Make me a willpower influence roll.
Oh, I can't use that I'm pretty, because can I
Nope.
can I add my points of nerd to this? Because it's
Yeah. Does it? Oh yeah, because it's, well, nerd takes away from social situations, doesn't it?
yes, but this is for the internet subculture. Oh.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so I will do influence willpower is 9 plus 3, 12 plus nerd, which is 3 points. So I believe a 15.
15. Okay, I think that's 4 successes.
Yes. Yes, 4
Okay.
successes.
Yeah. So, first of all, you just get a lot of comments that are like, "Oh my God, that's a gorgeous knife." And like useless stuff like that. A couple of people are like, "You did you say that you paid 3,000 for it?"
I think I said I paid like 3,000. like sight unseen, like some just absurd number for people to be like, there's people you can put your money to better things. Like it's probably gonna be half the comments, but the other comments are gonna be like, you got fucking either ripped off or I got an amazing deal. I hope.
So you get more comments that are like, I mean, it's probably not worth 3,000, but like maybe like 2,000. No one can give you like a real answer. And then you get one comment that's like, I thought I saw a dagger like that go for like 8,000 once, but like maybe they were just trying to like bleed people dry. There's nothing concretely conclusive, but you do get a ballpark of like between 2 and 4,000.
Alrighty, perfect. Between 2 and 4,000. All right.
You're pretty. Go for 4,000.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Is that what you do for the remainder of the evening?
I
then-
suppose I just set up a meeting with my bank tomorrow.
Okay.
With my personal financial advisor that is just loves me.
Good. Let me financial advisor.
Well, you need to tell me what this dagger's made out of, and then I want you to come up with returns on stocks.
Jesus. Okay. Does anyone have any does anyone want to go next, or do I get to pick?
I'll go.
Okay.
So wait, let me. So we just got out of what's his face's office
Mhm.
after talking in the gym. And Estia's a little bit nervous about being alone, like having a vampire come at her, like sort of spooked her. For all that she was like, that was awesome to Ash. And so she's going to go back to her dorm long enough to like scoop up her tablet or something. Maybe an actual book. And go to like an all-night coffee shop or like someplace that's bound to have at least a few strange people hanging out late at night. Maybe a sports bar or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a college part of town, so there's a couple bars that are still open, because 3/4 of the population is over half, 3/4 over 21. So some of them are louder than others, but you find one that's relatively not ear splitting.
I mean, loud doesn't really bother Essia. She can tune stuff out. She's pretty nerdy.
Okay.
So she's really just fine with someplace that's still kind of rowdy, because that means it's probably gonna be open for a little while and having people for a little while.
Okay.
And she'll
it's
just find
karaoke night.
Cool. Yes. So she's going to, let's see. She's a I don't remember how old she is or if she's over 21.
Is she a sophomore or a junior?
I don't remember, but regardless, she's probably not.
Make a
over 20.
decision now.
I'm pretty sure I wrote it down somewhere. I don't think she's over 21. I don't think she's old enough. So she's gonna order like a oh god, what's it called? Soda water with like some lime in it, like so that nobody bothers her about drinking, and is gonna like sit in a corner and like curl up with like it's got the cover of like a Stephen King book on it, but inside of it is definitely like something super occulty and like, I don't know, ye old histories of the Slayer's past or some shit like that. Like,
So it's got like a Stephen King dust jacket.
yeah. You know when like you're sitting in class in school and
Yeah.
you've got like your textbook cover and then
Mhm.
you've got the actual book you're reading behind the textbook?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that she's totally pulling kind of one of those with like a dust jacket. It's an upside down newspaper. Yes.
With like eye holes cut.
Yeah, but so she's like, I mean, she's trying to keep it pretty low key, but she's like doing some homework. She's doing some reading.
Okay. You do that as you're serenaded by kind of a mediocre rendition of Don't Stop Believin'.
Just a small town girl living in a
Living in a
lonely
lonely
world.
world.
I said mediocre.
That is pretty mediocre for karaoke. They get bad.
Feel targeted.
Is there anything that you like specifically want to do, or are you just hanging till the bar closes?
She's specifically looking through the book for history of Slayers. History of Watchers will do. But she's basically just reading. Like that's kind of what she's doing. Like she's got enough stock right now that she doesn't actually feel the need to like hop into the lab right now or anything. So she's getting cozy with some lore.
Okay.
She's kind of boring that way.
That's fine. Can you make me another knowledge occultism check? Roll? Check? Roll?
Yeah. What do you want along with it?
If you have occult library, you can add the number of levels that or the points that you have in that.
I think I do. But like what attribute do you want with it?
Oops, I said knowledge occultism. I meant intelligence occultism.
Okay. Let's see. It never seems to show up correctly when I add modifiers, so I'm just gonna make that roll.
Okay.
Oh, geez, that is not a Sherry roll. Sherry is getting amazing rolls, and I am not. And then occult library. It's an 11, so I think that's what, one success?
That is 2 successes, actually.
2 successes. Okay.
So with 2 successes you get the basics that like most watchers and most slayers are taught. Well, all of them actually, but essentially long ago the world was full of demons. Eventually they went away with the exception of one who cursed or when humans came along, and then the one demon cursed something to become vampires, and then there's hellmouths that demons can come in and out of, and so one specific young woman was chosen to be the protector of the world against all of the evil and stuff, and that lineage has been passed along through the generations, known as the Slayer. The Slayer has a mentor, guardian of sorts called a Watcher, and is watched over by the Watchers Council because there's far more Watchers than there are Slayers. But they kind of it's a very strange dynamic. Reading about how like there's this big kind of, it almost feels like a corporation, and they're like, you could definitely see it as like a corporation and a puppet. And
Watchers LLC.
Yeah, kind of. And there are various levels and everything. But that's kind of the basics. And then you remember what Julian told you of how 20 years ago there was an incident in Sunnydale where a bunch of potential slayers who could have been in line for the title were activated to become full slayers, and because of that there are now like a dozen slayer lines, and Ash has just inherited one of those.
That was like the perfect point for you to just be like, into every generation a slayer is born. One girl in all the world, a chosen one. We know the quote, right? Anyway.
I tried to give that spiel to Ash and she went, "Not a girl," and then threw me off my game.
She alone will wield the strength and skill to fight the vampires.
The speech is in my other notes.
The book opens up like one of those cards you get at Walmart, and it just has the opening theme
And
song.
it just has
the wailing wolf. Yeah, you're like, oh god.
I'm glad this bar is noisy.
It makes me think of has anyone seen Miss Congeniality?
Absolutely.
You know, at the
Only
very
about 2
beginning
dozen
where she's in the
times.
Russian restaurant and she has the book that's a camera.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we're getting off track. Off track.
Were we ever on it?
Also,
we were
if you were paying
trying.
attention,
We were trying.
if you were paying attention to our very first episode, we referenced Miss Congeniality 3 times.
Anyway, so is there any kind of knowledge in there about whether Slayer is not inherited, but is Watcher inherited? Because I know,
I mean, the Watcher tradition can, go through generations, as in terms of like how a son might go into the same business as his dad or something, like a family
Wesley
business type
Wyndham
thing.
Price, his dad was on the council, and he ended up in the council.
Yeah.
Giles's like grandmother was, and his dad, and like he had like,
so like
he was
it can
like a third
definitely
gen Watcher.
It can definitely be like a family affair, but it doesn't have to be.
Here's another question: is it tied at all to? And you may not know this, like but is it tied at all to like the gentry? Like, is it sort of a gentrified position, or is it?
It's tied to. It has very.
We are being nerdy.
It has a very close similarities to academia.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, the academia of the occult doesn't necessarily run in the same circles as the academia of the, I can't think of the word, but the non-occult. But it's a very similar structure.
Did we exchange numbers at all, by the way? Can we text each other? Can she text with?
Oh, everybody, I think, but Cheryl. Cheryl just pieced out before
I was
we
gonna
actually
say,
got.
I'm happy to hand wave that if everybody else is.
You can absolutely say that you shared numbers.
So
yeah, I would have made sure that if there was
card.
any meeting happening, that you have my number.
I mean, if nothing else, y'all have school emails.
Yeah.
fair.
I totally picture Sherry as having like a full old-fashioned like card.
Oh, like of course,
Like
a business card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a headshot.
No, not a headshot. Very professional financial advisors is what I'm looking to do immediately out of school. So I'm just doing different fonts and
It's just her name.
and paper materials. Yes.
It's that
It has what I was interned at last summer. I think they were called Silicon Valley Bank.
Ooh. That's harsh. Too soon.
Ouch.
Anyway, so Estia is totally like, as she's like reading and like maybe munching on like bar peanuts or whatever, she's like totally like texting. She makes a group chat because she is that person. And she's totally texting the others like, so here's like a random fact. Did you know the Slayer like from Byzantine Europe
Oh, like
Is-
prehistoric.
X and Y. Like, no, I mean like
Oh, okay.
if she
Like
comes
just a
across like
random
random,
title, yeah.
like when you're reading. Okay, this might just be me. Okay, but go with me. When you're reading like a book on like, I don't know, the Civil War or like some random point in history, and you're like, hey, did you know that like corsets used to be made out of like rushes before they came up with whalebone? And then there's this and there's this. Like sometimes you'll like just spit facts to people. Just me, probably just me.
No, me too. I've got a book recommendation for you when you're ready.
Hi, if you didn't know you had ADHD, that's your sign.
What?
Just thumbs up reacts from Cheryl
Just
on all those like fun facts.
ADHD. I'm like hardcore Mike, but yeah, ADHD right there.
ADHD.
Anyway, so Estia is being like the facto meter person, like, and anytime someone asks like, where are you getting this, she's just like, don't worry about it. So that's Estia's evening, is until like 2 a.m. they're getting group chats. I hope they put do not disturb on because when they go to sleep, because otherwise they're getting fact dumped.
Okay. When the bar, inevitably closes,
Then she'll go get some sleep.
Okay. Who's next? Ash.
Oh, pick me. Especially given Estia's, I hope they go on Do Not Disturb. Ash left Julian's library after Cheryl like slammed the door inconspicuously. He was just like, I'm out. Like, she probably was the first one out after that, and Julian was probably like, wait, no, hold on. And Ash was like, bye. I can't cope. I can't cope with this right now. And she's like, if the apocalypse is coming, beat me. like totally in that type of like vein of things. And
like,
she
send me an email. I'll get it in the morning.
Literally, that was their reaction. And they walked back out and followed the music to wherever the music was the loudest. Walked into wherever that was, be it bar, frat party, house party. They're the party person. Pretty much, if it's a party, they walk up, somebody goes, hey, yo, Ash, what's up? And so they walked into whatever party it was, DGAF, like, oh my God, this is way too much. I said I needed a drink. I didn't get a drink. And now even more has happened and I am not, nope. And so they proceeded to get very, 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 very drunk. Like in a way of like, nope, this isn't happening. I'm
Denial
dreaming.
drinking.
Yeah, denial drinking. Totally. Absolutely. Like, this isn't happening. Absolutely not. And then as they're drinking, they see all these group texts from Estia start to come in. Some weird gibberish probably comes back from Ash before they go on to actually Do Not Disturb. And yeah, they are very hard to reach. I mean, you can do that like if you're on Do Not Disturb, you can do that like bump now type of thing. So if anybody does decide to do that, they can. And they can reach Ash. They're not totally unreachable.
Can you roll me a straight D10?
Oh, that's concerning. Sure.
What can they roll a gay D10 instead?
I was just gonna say,
yeah, I was like,
can they straight? Because none of us are.
Yeah, I was like, Ash is not straight, but okay.
Maybe squiggly.
A squiggly D10. Let's go with a nice tan color D10.
Beige.
That's gonna be literally right in the middle, 5.
Okay. Your responses are almost coherent. Like, there's a lot of typos and fat fingering, but if Estia really, really, really tries, she can parse most of them.
At one point, I'm sure Estia goes, well, in each generation of Slayer, there's one girl chosen, and Ash just completely goes, no, like in all text, right? Like just jumbled.
Not a world.
Yeah, not a world. Actually, yeah, not a world. That's The
That's what
actual text
autocorrect
Ash
came
Trunk
came up with.
Yeah, not a world. Not a world.
Autocorrect was just trying its very best.
Yeah.
Autocorrect was working hard tonight.
Real hard. At one point, Ash probably texts Ye and goes like, "Yo, where you at?" Because like they want to get high too. Like they are just nah. This is not happening. But regardless of like what happens next one, they probably end up very hungover. Is where I'm going with this. But like they are just, also a text is probably sent to Cheryl on the side at some point that's just a literal just thumbs up emoji. That's it. Just a thumbs up, like that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna see what
Okay.
Ye says or what Ye does, and then we'll come back to you for a sec.
All right. Well,
Um,
Ye is, at first he's like, I should probably. Part of him's like, I should follow Ash just to make sure that our new Slayer doesn't get fucking murderized day one
They're
because they
fine.
can't deal.
They're fine.
But pretty soon is like, but that's also kind of creepy and stalkerish. So instead, he just goes, heads back to his apartment. He takes one of the pizzas, eats it on the way, like just walking through campus. Oh no. Then gets home and kind of settles out on his couch and starts to have a drink, and then sees the text start popping up, and chatting back a little bit himself on oh, that's cool, or actually, you know what, I found this is actually kind of had been the case, because for everybody else this is really freaky and new, but for Ye this is Tuesday for the most part. This is just another day and all the shit that he slogs through. But now he has people to worry about on more than I saw a vision of you being horribly murdered level.
I do have a question just to interject. Does it take more to get Ash drunk now that they're the Slayer, or no? I'm
Should.
thinking, tree pretty, fire bad type of, fire bad, tree pretty type of levels.
yeah.
But that was like dark alchemy mixed in with brewing, wasn't
right.
it?
Yeah.
So like, are we talking like?
So it
does
does.
take
You
more?
do notice it takes more.
Okay.
Right.
That doesn't stop Ash. I'm just curious.
That's fine. And when he gets the where you at text from Ash, he's like, I'm at my place. Do you need me to give you a ride, or you Gucci? I got what you're after.
Ash does not want to end the party, nor does Ash want to go home. So Ash just says, "Come here," and like shares their location. Like
drops a pin.
No. Literally just drops a pin. Like, no.
Just sigh, restock
Turn
his
around with
pockets a
your
little.
pizza.
Yeah. Well, no, he finished the
Yeah.
pizza before he got home. But he'll head back out because, yes, given the state of the typing, he does sort of feel like he might have to keep an eye on the Slayer. Not even necessarily because they might get jumped by some sort of horrible demon, but some dumb frat bro might try to cop a feel and get thrown through a fucking wall, and they're going to need to piece out of that real quick.
Please.
So he's banking on the fact that he's a really big dude, so if he's around Ash, that's less likely to happen, though this being a college campus, not impossible, especially for a college party, but also that he will be functional enough to at least get Ash out of the situation before even more uncomfortable questions arise.
So Ash is probably like on the front porch of the party at this point. Like they're not like deep in the party. Like they're that like, I don't want to leave, but I don't want to stay. I'm like leaning against a pillar on the front porch, like
Now our
at
director's
my
gonna have to
phone.
like roll for frat boy.
Roll for frat boy.
Roll for frat boy.
High or low?
Oh, God.
I love everything about this.
You know what? Low. I'm gonna roll low.
You you sit there for like what? How long does it take Ye to walk across campus?
Maybe 10 minutes.
Okay, you sit there for like 10 minutes. you see, frat boys come and go, sorority chicks come and go, but you make it out alive. Nobody tries to hit on you.
I
Maybe
imagine
for the
that like
best.
yeah, I imagine that like people like walk by Ash and like a frat bro kind of like looks at them and as like she's texting this Cheryl like the thumbs up, she affects like a very false southern accent. She goes, "Excuse you," like to
Very
be like,
drunk.
like very drunk, very, like,
I think it's very, very obvious how drunk you are, and
oh
even
yeah,
the dumbest of frat boys knows not to try.
oh yeah, but like she's just like my friend.
But
So
she's
we
still
better-
like, I know I'm hot, but fuck off.
yeah, that's literally like what she's doing. So she's like, "Excuse the fuck you."
Yeah.
you know? Like, not that Cheryl would ever say that, but it worked for Cheryl in the way that Cheryl is totally able to do. So
The way that Cheryl can
usually
pull it off.
right, but
Yeah.
I mean, usually also the reason Ash is a good party person is Ash doesn't usually get this wasted,
Yeah.
right? Like Ash is usually a pretty cool person to have at parties. Like, yeah, they get drunk, they might get high, but like they're the cool partier. And now they are that person, like kind of like half slumped against a column, like waiting
Yeah.
for their.
Oh,
friends
this is
to
my
look at them.
song, you guys. This is my song. Who wants to
Right.
go swimming?
If
They are.
anything, I think you get some very concerned looks because people know that you're kind of a heavyweight, so this doesn't usually happen.
Right. Like they like and it took effort for them to get here.
Mhm.
Right? Like it took some work for them to get here, but they were determined to get here. They are like almost full on like upside down in a spinny office chair levels of just like
Drama point.
drama really drama point
Nice.
for that. Yeah, they're almost there. So they're just like they're hanging there waiting for Ye to walk across campus, and they're reading Estia's texts and trying to respond, but Estia is sending like, "Did you know? Did you know? Did you know?" And Ashley's like, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't." Like, just
Wow,
no,
that's crazy.
no, that's
Letters
wild.
are
Can actually
starting
see
to
the
like
game.
drift around a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
Ye
like,
will show up
there's
and he will show up with some supplies. He'll pretty much immediately just light one up and hand it off and just kind of sit there with them for a while, keeping an eye on the frat boys, keeping an eye out for any of the unfriendly not so humans, because there are definitely probably some demonic types that show up on campus for the parties who are not there to drink blood or eat somebody's soul. They're really just there to maybe get laid and have a good time.
Hey, yay.
yeah.
Go.
Are you like adjacent to Ash or like in her vicinity? Their
Yes.
vicinity? You suddenly get a splitting headache.
And you'll actually see Ye just suddenly go from relaxed and puffing up to the veins standing out on his forehead, jaw locked for a minute, and he just, oh shit, fucking course. Oh.
So you go through the beginnings of these that you're used to. It doesn't hurt any less, even though you're used to it. It grows as it usually does into, head splitting pain, but not a lot comes through to you this time. You see a glimpse of blood, but not from someone's neck or from a cut or anything. It's actually it's in a glass vial. And
A
then
little
there's
glass vial?
it's in a glass vial. And then there's kind of a flash transition to another scene of a hand pouring this vial of blood into someone's mouth, though the recipient doesn't seem very receptive to it. And then it fades to black, and you're released from your pain.
hate those.
Ash notices none of this.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
It's
God.
like that's not enough to go on tonight. I do not have the spoons to deal with this. Fuck it, maybe somebody else will know. And he's just gonna pop out his phone and he's like, well, y'all, I had a vision. It didn't make a lot of sense. Most of my visions are a little clearer than this. Can we meet tomorrow somewhere to discuss it? Because whenever I see something, it's always bad. It's not always immediate, but it's always very bad.
Ash will let the others respond, but then turn to Ye in person and be like,
And he's just gonna reach
That,
over,
like-
big old hand, and just kind of pat, pat, pat on top of the head.
but yeah, that's pretty much where Ash is at with Ye and things like that. So
Eventually, Ye will. It's probably just going to be easier to just lever like fucking fireman's carry Ash,
Probably.
or just walk with Ash back to his place, put them on his super comfortable like stoner nap couch, which is very clean. His whole apartment is very clean and not what the stoner chic you would expect.
just like in that bean bag that's in the corner, like that human sized bean bag, just like
yeah,
Oh,
dump.
gonna like
I'm so
get them
jealous.
settled, get a blanket on them, jug of water, bucket with a liner just in case. Never seen Ash this bad, but you know, a heroic level of vomit on the floor is not something anybody wants to wake up to.
And then also to transition this, at like 3 to 4 in the morning, there is a voicemail left on Sherry's phone that's just Ash being like, that was really cool what you did. And I want you to teach me that. And like, you're really pretty. Did you know that? like there's a voicemail at like 4 a.m. left on Sherry's phone. Unless
Hey.
Sherry answers, but like it's this like really like that was like really cool type of
Just
voicemail.
real quick, what
Yeah.
time does Ye send out? Like, are we talking earlier in the evening or are we talking later in the evening?
Late, I imagine that Ash wasn't gonna be like pulled away from the party at least until 2 a.m.
Okay.
So Ye would send that out, and then they said just
Okay.
get Ash settled in. Out of character, I get the feeling this group is either going to turn into a polycule or just like daytime fucking soaps levels of romance angst. You know, Esty is fiending for Ash. Ash is kind of feeding for Cheryl. Cheryl is fiending for Prada. You know, and Ye is oblivious to everything.
Ye's just the friend.
Yep.
All right, so you make your sloppy call to Cheryl and you figure out how to hang up. And
No, there's just like 2 minutes of silence at the end of it. It's just like Ash is just
Hangs
falling
up on
asleep
its
on the
own.
voicemail.
Ye
it
just
hangs up.
walks up to her like while she's passed out with the phone and just goes end call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just goes.
So
"Ugh,
Cheryl wakes
this
up to
better
like
not
a
have been a
5-minute voicemail.
Now Cheryl will get the end of this as Ye goes, this better not have been a booty call to my place, and then just clicks and hangs up and goes to lay down.
And so Ash, as you have received life-changing information tonight, and then you went and got fucking plastered. You are in a very interesting condition to be processing things. So you pass the fuck out. And someone can correct me
no.
on this because I've never been like blackout drunk. But
Mhm.
you have a dream.
Oh no, you can, and I forgot. I forgot that Ash had these things. It's fine. It's fine. You can have dreams when you're blackout drunk, yes, but usually it comes after like there's usually a point where like you pass the fuck out for a couple of hours and then you wake up feeling like shit and then you doze and that's like kind of
Yeah, I'm imagining that she passed out at like 2:30 when she got to Ye's place, and then woke up at like 4, booty called Cheryl.
It
and
wasn't a
then,
booty call. It was just like a really, hey, you're fucking cool call.
and then passed the fuck out again, and this is when this all goes down.
Okay.
So Ash, you have one of those dreams where like it's kind of like a third person view, and did you lived with your dad? Were you in an apartment or a house or?
It was like a townhouse condo, so like it wasn't like a full house, but like it wasn't
Okay.
a like tiny apartment.
So you kind of ghost fly into the townhouse, and your dad is sitting in an armchair. It's kind of later in the evening. What would he be doing? Would he be reading a book or watching a show or?
Depending on the time in the evening, he would either be taking care of the dog, making sure that the dog has like food and water and it's gone out and things like that. And after the food, like the dog has like everything it needs, their dad kind of like settles in on the couch. Depending on if he's worked that day or not. Usually if he's worked that day, it's TV. If he hasn't worked that day, it's usually a book and a glass of scotch. But if he has worked that day, it's kind of just like a mindless TV. He probably texts Ash to like hope they had a good day, like they talk every single day. But he's usually in the corner of the couch in some capacity.
So you it's a dream. You aren't in your body. You don't have your phone with you, but you still see his text, not from his phone though. You just see his text, and you're like, you know what it says. And then so you watch your dad, make sure the dog's fed, sit down on the couch with I think probably a glass of scotch and watching his favorite show. And it's kind of just like that for a minute or so. And then it gets colder. You don't feel physically cold, but you know it's colder. And then the view kind of zooms out a little bit, just enough to see like a dark something in the corner, sort of lurking, and then it gets in like a burst of speed closer, and then there's like a choppy cut to it's behind your dad, and then suddenly your dad is being smothered, and it's a nebulous cloud, it's a shape, it's a demon, it's a vampire, it's something, it's all of these things all at once. You cannot comprehend it, but it is bad and evil and killing your dad. And you are not in a body.
No, I'm sure Ash tries to scream and it just like doesn't, like that little like
Yeah.
like type of feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You never see or hear him die, because you wake up before that happens, but you still kind of he died in that dream.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
You didn't see it, but you know he did. But it was just a dream.
Sure. Totally. Ash just probably quietly sobs into the beanbag, but like does not bother anyone. Like they know they're at Ye's now, right? Like they've woken up. Yeah, they know they're at Ye's. They probably have like 50 plus missed text messages from the group chat from Cheryl being like, I'm sorry, the fuck do you think you were? Like type of thing. Yeah, Ash is out of commission for the moment. Till everybody else is good to go. Because like that's nope. Ash needs a sec. Absolutely not. Ash is Ash is checked out. Mechanic wise, do I need to roll a d10 for that one?
Mechanic wise, you just have a -1 to all of your rolls.
Oh, I do. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I was like, well, roll a 1 of d10.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, no, maybe rolled randomly. A roll of 1
You
or a
can
d10.
roll, so mechanically, in terms of how the dreams work, the DM can roll randomly to see if you have a dream that night, or they can,
Gotcha,
if they so
gotcha. Or
choose,
they can
have it
just
happen.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
gotcha. I wanted to make sure mechanically that happened. I forgot that Ash had that. Okay, so yeah, now Ash. I mean, it makes sense for how hard they went the night before. Yeah, -1 on all rolls today.
Mhm.
All rolls today. Okay, well, Ash is chilling. What's Cheryl doing? What what's everybody else doing? Because
Well,
Ash is not great.
Ye is making breakfast for the two of them.
No, Ash is
Currently.
not having breakfast. What is everybody else doing?
Well,
Oh,
So yeah, it is finally the morning. Y'all have classes today. Y'all have extracurriculars today. Ash, you get an email from Julian because he doesn't have your phone number. And it just says, please meet me after classes in my office. We have many things to talk about. Sincerely, Julian Haynes.
Cool. What time in the morning is this sent?
It's probably like 8 or 9, depending on when you wake up for when your classes start.
No, Ash isn't going to class that day. Come on, no.
Okay, so then you wake up to the smell of Ye making breakfast.
Yeah.
it is syllabus week,
It
and
is,
you do get shit faced.
literally, it's syllabus week, and it's like Friday, like morning, right? Because like there's parties.
I mean, when I
right?
got to upperclassmen classes, syllabus week wasn't a thing. You got thrown in.
I mean, there was still syllabus week. Anyways, yeah. So Ash probably like wakes up, sees the email from Julian, and just like literally curls back into the beanbag. They probably like take a screenshot, send it to the group chat, and just like crawls back into the beanbag. Like they don't even actually get up. They just like look at it, take a screenshot, send to the group chat, and just like curl back. And they are hidden under like because they're also tiny. I mean, SD is a little bit tinier than they are, but they're also tiny. They're like 5'1". So like blanket, big beanbag. They're a little bit of a bird in a big nest.
Yes.
So like,
I love that image.
like, yeah.
This is my
so
safety nest.
like it is a safety nest where they are. Fuck the smell of breakfast. They probably like reach out a hand for a glass of water or a water bottle that they are sure Ye put nearby. Drag it under the blanket, like like, and this is their water bottle now. And so yeah, they take a screenshot and send it to the group chat.
Ye'll note that, and he's probably not going to classes either today. But he will keep an eye on things. He's mostly going to, without being obtrusive, just keep an eye on Ash. Like, dig into his closet, get out a giant pair of gray sweatpants and a big old white t-shirt and put them on the couch and be like, shower's in there if you want to use it, door locks, don't worry. Or if you want me to take you home at some point, otherwise we can just chill. And he'll light one up and see if Ash wants to hotbox under the blanket, and if not, well,
So I'm gonna hop over to our very patient Miss Cheryl here.
All right. Sounds good. Would you like me to narrate what my morning looks like, what my morning ritual looks like?
Yeah. Tell me what
Got
you
that
do.
skincare routine.
Absolutely was the very first
Please.
thing that I was gonna say. At 6:10, she's out of bed and she's making herself a little bit of a iced coffee in the morning, and she takes out her puffer mask that she puts onto her head, and she goes through her last evening's emails and messages, puts puts on different financial reports for the pre-market, takes off her mask and is doing her skincare routine and cleaning or listening to her messages and kind of pauses for a moment when she gets told that she's pretty and interesting. It's gonna hang up on that and then go to her, I believe 7:30, 7 a.m. Meeting with her financial advisor.
Yeah.
To go talk to her. And her objective of this meeting is to talk to Darla, her financial advisor, and post the dagger as collateral for a loan of 2,000 US. She's going to try and secure a very low interest, just a prime loan with loan for 2,000 and just have the dagger in a safety deposit box as collateral. And because it's twice the value, if she can market it as twice the value, she hopes that she will get a reasonable rate and a very reasonable repayment plan, and then also doesn't fall into the wrong hands like at a pawn shop.
High or low?
High or low? Let's say low.
So they are willing to let you use it as collateral, but they need it basically evaluated and authenticated.
Well, of course you need to do that, Darla. Of course. And I'm sure in the next week or so that you can get that organized. I'm sure that we can go ahead with the loan in the short term. If you call me up in a week and you think that it is not bona fide and it's not certified, then I can come right back and I can hand you back the $2,000 right on the spot.
High or low?
Hi.
So she's still kind of wary. They don't generally like to use unverified things as collateral. There's no provenance on this knife. There's
Mhm.
no insurance record. There's no, you know, record of changing of hands, of origin even. So, it would reflect badly on her if she were to go ahead and give you the loan and then find out that the collateral is worthless. So she unfortunately is going to decline until there is sufficient provenance.
She's going to look at her and go, Darla, we've known each other for a number of years, and you know my situation. My grandmother brought over this knife from the old country, and I'm shocked that you would like to use this Western standard of imposing insurance and the back and forth of any documentation. Do you think that there was any documentation when she got on the boat, Darla? And secondly, I currently hold all my financial holdings in this bank. I can move it to another and get it properly insured. You know that my previous work establishment now has a no cap limit to their insurance. They're backed by the Fed. What about you here at JP Morgan? I know that you're a good institution, but there's no certainty for you. I thought you would be happy to accept anything that you can use for your leverage. Banks are folding left and right, and she's gonna hopefully use some of her finance knowledge and conversation to influence Darla.
Well, first of all, she does make a comment that if your what was it, grandmother had gone through the proper channels, there would be a record of her immigration to America. There should be paperwork.
Oh,
And
yes, of course there was, but it took a number of years after they arrived.
it should still
There's-
exist though.
Wasn't it? All right.
And secondly, okay, one more roll, high or low.
Hi.
I'll give you 48 hours to bring me what I need to see. And I will talk to my higher ups.
So within 48 hours, I can arrive and then we can make the exchange. That's fair. It's a reasonable request. I'm gonna go across the street to First Republic and see what their offer is. She's gonna take the knife with her. And it was a pleasure getting to know you all these years, Darla. Just gonna leave.
Wow.
Yeah.
Julia.
She's gonna go to a pawn shop.
Okay. You open the door. That's how you enter places. You do have to travel a little farther into, I don't want to call it a seedier part of the town, but a less reputable section. And I say town, it's a city. Semantics. You open the door and there is that, that classic thing of like, sketchy businesses with, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
The
Oh yeah,
thing that you
absolutely.
get from like
Yeah, a bell. Yeah.
like a gas station convenience store.
Okay.
But it's a pawn store, pawn
Okay.
shop. Words. It smells like smoke and metal and bad. Like the proprietor clearly smokes something gross, like bad cigars, and it is just shelves of presumably valuable things, but like mid-valuable, because the real valuable stuff is in the cage behind the counter, or perhaps even in the back. But the proprietor hears you, hears the bell, and he steps out. It's kind of a portly guy, not dressed great, but it's like he clearly tries to look good, so it's like, A for effort. And he is in fact wielding a cigar. And he just kind of stands behind the desk, puts his hands on the counter, and he goes, "How can I help you, Missy?"
Well, such a smiley day to you, sir. And she's gonna just kind of survey to see what type of stuff he has, if he has nice looking knives on the back shelf, and if he has any pistols. A big pistol, I believe, is what it's called mechanically in the Buffy handbook.
Probably. I can look it up, but
It's like a big frickin' pistol or something like that.
there's a weapons list in here. Hold on.
Yeah, I can grab it for you.
Big ass pistol.
Big ass pistol, yeah.
What does that even say for that? Big ass pistol.
Base damage 18.
Bullets, use pistol ranges. Yeah, okay. There's guns locked behind the counter in the cage. There's gold necklaces and chains and some like very valuable looking purses, and there are a couple like antique looking things like an old pocket watch, or what are some like porcelain figurines that are like established, some like really fancy maker, etc., etc. Excuse me. And so like you kind of get the idea that he might know something about these, about like antiques at least. And there are weapons and stuff beyond guns and things in the cage too, so like
I was in the market myself. Situations are getting dire around this country, and just wanted some personal protection. How much is that revolver right there? And she points at a big ass pistol.
Oh, that'll run you 1K.
$1,000? All right. Well, that seems to be semi-reasonable. She thinks back to the dollar amount she has in the bank account. I don't know if that's a roll, but she's just gonna assume that don't have that in her debit account, checking account, and is gonna go, all right, well, I do have an object that I think might be of some interest to you. And she takes out an old looking cloth. Definitely has dressed up the presentation of this ancient thing and goes, now, I know that establishments such as yours have special arrangements that they can make with certain customers. That if I were to exchange something for you, I could buy back at 1.5 times or even double the price, depending on what the situation is. And she's going to reveal the dagger and goes, unfortunately, it breaks my heart to have to part with this item, but I'm in the need of some more effective protection.
He looks at the knife, and his face doesn't change, but he looks at it for a long time and doesn't say anything. And then he looks back at you. Dead serious. And he says, we cut the shenanigans. I will pay you 3,000 right now for this knife.
Hmm.
Take it or leave it.
Well, that's quite an interesting offer that you have there. She's going to. I would accept the 3,000 if I had the ability for you to hold on to it for a week and me be able to purchase it back at 4,000.
I don't
However,
think you heard what I said. I will pay you to have this knife.
yeah, Cheryl's gonna look at him and go, all right, my price would be $2,500, a revolver, and 36 rounds.
2,600 and it's yours. Whoops, sorry, I meant wait, 20.
I said 2,500 and he says
I know.
2,600.
No, sorry. Chris doesn't math very well.
That is that's fine, dear.
He would I meant 2,400.
2,400 US dollars. Yeah, Sherry's doesn't think of the consequences in this moment, even though she's smart enough to know what they are, and is going to take the $2,400, the revolver, and 36 rounds.
Okay. You now have $2,400, a big ass pistol, and 36 rounds. Don't do something stupid with it. And then he just like takes a big puff of his cigar and walks back into the back room, taking the knife with him.
Alrighty. $36 rounds and a big ass pistol. All right, she's going to she's going to look at the pistol and inspect the chamber and properly identify it, click it back, and is going to then put it in her purse and walk out onto the street and go to her 9 a.m. presentation that she has.
Okay.
She's just going to
let's
say,
walk
I
through-
love this country.
Yeah, you know what? No. I know it's early, but I want to end it right there. Are you guys okay ending it right there? Or do you want to? We can keep going.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay if you want to end it right there. That's okay.
I just think
Oh.
that's a really
mean-
good line to end it on.
My God, I love this country. I mean,
We
I'm
can jump ahead a little bit next game.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
can-
Like if we can like time skip a little bit next game, I'm okay.
No,
ending.
absolutely. I just I wanted to get certain things in, obviously. But
Yeah.
now that my agenda has been fulfilled.
Chris is like, I've done everything I want to, so we're good.
Yep.
Let's go.
But I appreciate you asking if we've done everything we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realized I was like, I want to end it right there, and I was like, wait, no, that's so rude.
Out of game.
That's right.
I am so sorry. I tried mechanically, but my character is a fucking greedy person.
No,
Yeah.
no, that went so funnily.
Yeah, it was a
You
great,
know?
great way to play into a
Magic.
character
I'm
flaw.
doing so much damage to
Yeah.
innocent people, but I have one of the drawbacks that's like she just wants money. And you're putting
I-
down a dollar amount that's like twice what she wanted in her pocket. It's
I
like,
Yeah.
"God damn
legit
it."
was like, when you were like, oh, I'm gonna have it as collateral for a loan and put it in a safety deposit box. I was like, that is such a good idea. Like, what a good way to get around the pawn
That's-
shop dilemma.
That's
like,
what my
this is
favorite
amazing.
person, Jeff Bezos, does. Is he just takes out $100,000 loan and he doesn't have to write it down on his taxes, which is a very smart move. If you have the collateral, to post it up and get pretty much a 0% interest rate.
I am
Anyways.
so glad I watched a couple episodes of like an art dealing show today.
Serendipity.
Wow, really?
And
Nice.
Antique
called-
Roadshow? Antique
No,
Roadshow?
it's called Faker Fortune. It's a British show, and it's
Ooh.
really cool because they have people who like think they might have like a really valuable painting, and they go through like all these processes to try and like verify like the provenance, and like they use like forensic methods to like get the chemical makeup of the paint to make sure it's like historically accurate, and they like try to do everything they can to like verify whether it's like real or fake. And I watched like 3 episodes of it today, not even knowing I would have to deal with this shit.
Yeah. And that
Real
was
life application into
was
games.
played super well. I think the
Yeah.
only thing that we forgot is that banks don't care about getting their assets evaluated properly. They just say whatever numbers on the books and they go, sweet.
DGAF.
What if I wanted like a morally responsible bank?
Oh, yeah, we're playing a role playing game.
Yeah.
That's
Well-
a
That's
subject for
true
another
fiction.
Yeah.
It allows you to play out your ideals, like having a morally responsible bank. And
Except for my
getting-
bank. They're fine. Please give me loans.
They probably
right.
have
Whatever my bank is, please.
they probably have an appraiser on call.
On
by-
call, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that
Well, I'm sure
And
Julian
of course,
has somebody who could tell you how much that knife is worth.
that would
10
be
human
amazing
souls.
if Sherry had gone back to Julian and was like, I have this knife. How much do you think?
of course,
Julian
for
would've
me,
been
it's
like-
the fact that he just like your Sherry just turned around and walked out with a pistol. I know it's a pawn shop and all, but there's still generally gun laws.
Not in
That should be-
Ohio. In 2022, in June, they actually repealed their concealed carry law.
Yes, they
Thanks,
did.
Google.
Oh dear.
So that means that
this
you
country.
can't conceal carry anymore, right? That means
No,
that
you can.
No,
yeah,
you
that's
can.
what they
No,
repealed
that-
the
that-
needing
that
to get a
means that-
permit.
what that means is that they completely strengthened the gun control, right? They repealed the law that makes you
Freedom.
able to
Freedom.
Just out of character, I'm envisioning Ye holding that pawn shop guy over a wood chipper by his ankles,
Yeah, that's fine.
going, "All right, you got 2 options here. This is for the greater good."
Everyone,
Greater
someone stole the
good.
dagger, and I know who possesses it. We need to go stop him now.
I quit this
You
country.
nefarious fiend! I have found you.
This is the most Buffy thing I've ever watched outside of Buffy.
Yep.
So, one thing I kind of want to do
Yeah.
is check in with you guys again and see, where your characters' minds are at now that we've gotten this far.
Well, Yay is, like I said, is still pretty much Yay. Like he's used to demons. He's used to having to fight and kill things, whether he likes it or not. Um, he's as used to as he can be to horrific, terrible pain visions. Although they're usually a little more clear than the one he had with Ash around. Gonna have to look into that. But mostly he's worried about the two frail people who have sort of entered into the orbit of all of this and wondering if Ash is going to be strong enough in themselves to carry this burden.
Aw.
And hoping
Ash is
that
like,
and hoping that Ash takes a shower at some point and doesn't booze sweat all over his beanbag. Yes or no?
yeah. Well, that being said, Ash does crawl from the pits of despair, probably around like noontime, right? Um, don't know if he's around or not, but they don't really care. But they will shower, clean themselves up. But they will like flop back down on the beanbag. They're at that like I am so overwhelmed, but there's nothing else I can do except go forward. And so I'm going to like they've right like the 5 stages of grief, right? Like there's like denial, anger, like oh, and they have now reached like acceptance. Like they're
Ass.
past they're past despair, right? Because like last night was like total despair. This morning was like ends of despair, right? And now they have like they shower. They probably like do that like sad boy like TikTok theme, like sit in the shower, just like
All by
myself.
myself.
Yeah, exactly. Just like sitting in the shower. Ye probably just hears like humming like just from the hallway, you know.
Are you trying to tell me that Ash doesn't sing in the shower? Because Ash totally
No,
sings
Ash
in the shower.
absolutely sings in the shower.
Uh-huh.
But like they're a little too hungover to like fully sing, so they're just kind of like verbalizing under their breath as they're like sitting on the floor of Ye shower, just like water falling over them. You know, just like, oh god, that like post hungover, but like they like shower, they dry off, they get everything like they're still so overwhelmed, but the only way to get through this like overwhelmed holy crap my world is ending, right? Like their world has now ended. It's not ending, it has ended. And now they're just like forward, that's just forward. So they probably are just like acceptance. It's a little bit of empty acceptance, but it is acceptance in a way. Like it's not fully enthusiastic, but it's determined as shit acceptance. Like it's not enthusiastic, but Ash doesn't. They're a partier, but they don't fail. They're good at everything they set their mind to.
Nice.
While
Okay.
Ash is in the shower, he's gonna clean off the beanbag and kind of swap out blankets and get some new blankets on there and maybe put on like reruns of Kids in the Hall and make some popcorn or something. Just mindless stuff you don't really have to pay attention to, but can occupy some parts of your brain and just flop there. If Ash doesn't want to talk about it, he'll be there as a large, slightly stoned presence.
There's like a little bit of talking probably, but also at some point, not in the group chat, both Estia and Cheryl get side texts of like, shit, sorry. I'm good. Like, you know, like just like on the side, outside of the group text, but they both get like, oh shit, sorry, type of like text. Worded in a way that they like Cheryl's is probably a little bit more formal, right? And Estia's is probably the whole like, oh shit, sorry type of wording.
What about Estia?
Estia is confused as to what she's getting an apology for, because she didn't get booty called in the middle of the night.
She did get sloppy drunk text though.
She did. So Essie is in total like info gathering mode. She does go to her classes because she's not a slacker. So she goes to her classes. I can't keep a straight face because we killed Kevin.
We did.
I'm telling everybody who can't see Kevin is my favorite side character of this entire thing.
Kevin is the unseen
He is the watcher.
NPC. He's the watcher.
So Essie is in total like info gathering mode. So in between classes, she is checking out. So she has quite the library. I mean, it's not Giles level, I guess. What is she at again? She's got a cult library 3.
Oh wow,
So she's
okay.
got some serious books. Yeah. So she well, she didn't, because of her background, she had an opportunity to learn about and collect volumes that perhaps your average college age person would not have previously known or collected, or and she also had some frustration that she worked out through collecting more knowledge. So there was that. So she's like in total info gathering mode in between classes, like hitting up the volumes. Like I think she has her library in kind of like a storage unit rather than just chilling in her dorm or whatever. So she totally, you know, early morning, like she went to bed late, but I think she's probably too focused to sleep. She's in one of those cycles where she's like not really needing much sleep because she's like into whatever she's researching. So she gets a few hours of sleep, goes to class, and then like in the misty early morning, like, you know, she's the only one there, like walks into the storage yard and like throws up the, you know, you hear the of, you know, the door rolling up, and she just kind of looks at her library and she's like, okay. So trying to figure out like which section to figure, like, so she's really like kind of pulling a couple books out, and maybe she sits there for a little bit. She's probably got a little reading couch there, honestly. It's probably she probably sprung for like a climate controlled storage unit, so it's probably actually a pretty chill place to read for a little bit in between classes. Like that's what she's doing. That's her thing at the moment, is like hyper focus. Yes, please. Like this is where she's at. So classes, like she goes and she takes notes because she's a good student and studying is kind of what she does. But her studying focus at the moment is really on like what's going on. And then did she get anything from Ye? I don't remember about his vision.
He put it in
Yeah, he put it in the group chat about
Oh, right.
that he had a vision to discuss, hopefully the next day, but if it takes another day.
Oh, so he didn't put
Yeah, it
details
was-
of his vision?
No, he didn't put the
No.
details in. He just said, hey, I had a vision. It's different from my other
Talk
ones.
tomorrow.
Let's talk tomorrow. But doesn't sound like everybody's going to get together tomorrow. Like he'll invite everybody over to his place if everybody wants to come and discuss, but seems like people's schedules might not align, and Ash's ability to deal might not align with doing it that day.
Okay.
That is up to you. If you guys want to do it right now, we can. We have a little bit of time left. But if you would rather like
We ended it
do
on a good note, I think.
Yeah, it was a pretty good note. I think that next session, though, should actually be us all like getting together, talking through this vision of Ye's, maybe hitting up like, I don't know, a Waffle House or a Denny's or something.
Yeah, which was
Like-
actually what my next question was. For next week, where do you guys want to pick up? And I think Esty had just or Glory just said, you know.
No, I'm down with like all of them meeting up at a Denny's in the evening or Waffle House or something. Either late, either this evening or like early the next day, depending.
Yeah,
You can always
Cheryl
do
would be
extra
okay with
classes, or
Cheryl would be okay with that evening type meeting because Julian requested a meeting and then so did Jacob.
Yep, Julian can meet us at the fucking Waffle House or Denny's, probably Denny's.
Ash completely both in and out of character forgot that Julian requested a meeting and she was totally focused on Ye's meeting.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add though. Does anyone else?
Sherry, did you want to add anything about like your character's thoughts or perspectives, or?
Sure. She is immediately upon dinging the bell again, leaving the pawn shop, has this momentary just pit in her stomach of doing the wrong thing and going against some of her teachings that her parents instilled in her. And the rush from making a good sale and having cash in her pocket kind of begins to wind down. She probably spends a lunch hour at a shooting range, taking out one of those. I'm not sure if it's shooting ranges in the United States what you can get like pictures of monsters. So she's just practicing her marksmanship on a cutout of a vampire or a ghoul or something like that. And she's definitely struggling with having a group that wants to genuinely get to know her and also betraying them the second that she meets them. And she's like,
I love
That's
the
fine.
chat idea. They all look like the mutant enemy logo.
Can I actually, just for funsies, can I have you roll a d10?
just roll a d10. All right.
Yeah.
Another one.
That's
Oh
an
my
8.
Goodness.
Okay, yeah, they fully have like they're a cool shooting range where they have like fully like illustrated, printed out like different monsters. Like you know the scene in Men in Black where there's all those like cutouts of
Yeah.
various aliens and stuff. It's like that level.
Can you tell me why little Tiffany had to die?
She has her books on her.
Because little Tiffany is sus as fuck.
Okay, cool. That is amazing.
On that note.
I'm so glad that we played tonight. Not that we weren't gonna play tonight, but I just like I was having like a lot of struggles today, but I need to remember how to talk. I put my faith in you guys and you did not disappoint. I love my players so much, and I want to say thank you so much to Bat Kyle, aka Yay, to Blaze of Gloriosa, aka Estia, to Eddie, aka Cheryl or Sherry, and to Mana Queen, aka Ash. You guys are wonderful. I want to thank producer Kevin, who you can neither see nor hear, but he's bowing. And thank you, chat, and everyone who watched the show tonight. It was bumping in chat today. Had a blast watching chat just go. And thank you, everyone who watches on YouTube. If you made it this far, then why don't you go ahead and give that a thumbs up and subscribe even, because then you'll see more of us. And more of the wonderful games that we offer on Dirty 20 Gaming. So thank you, each and every one of you. And the most important part, be nice to each other. Bye.